If you legally defend yourself with a concealed knife, then you're going to go to prison. That was the general comment or private messages left by several people on a recent video that I did. And we'll look at how that may not be true for most people by taking a quick look into how the law works, right after the channel intro. Remember, you are ultimately responsible for protecting yourself and for providing for yourself. Live your life with honor and integrity, and always be the wolf hunter. Don't be the sheep, and never be the wolf. Welcome to this community. I'm an avid prepper, an oath keeper, and I'm certified to teach firearms and the use of deadly force through my state's police academy. If you want to learn true prepping skills and how to protect yourself without getting arrested, then please subscribe to this channel. So in a recent video I did titled, Hide Your Backup Weapon Here to Maximize Deadliness, I showed what I thought was a pretty nifty idea of how to conceal a push dagger as a backup weapon. Now, a link to that video should be showing up about now if you want to check it out. But I wanted to point out that I got several comments from viewers that went along the lines of, concealed knives are illegal, and if you use one in self-defense, then be prepared to go to prison. Now, those weren't everybody's exact words, but that was the gist of what several people said. Now, if you left a comment similar to that, please know that I'm not knocking you, but let's just take a look at that generalized statement from a legal perspective. And this legal perspective that we're going to explore is just to help you, the good guy, to help you kind of understand how many times the law will look at self-defense as a whole. And knowing how the legal system works may help you keep from being railroaded by an overzealous prosecutor or being afraid to defend yourself. Now, before we go even further, the first thing I need to remind you of is that each state in the USA has their own laws, and other countries such as Canada and England also have their own different laws. But each area will have their own laws regarding self-defense and self-defense weapons. So it's your responsibility to research your area's laws. And please don't think that this video is going to suggest to anybody that they should do anything illegal. So let's just say that your area allows you to use deadly force to protect your life if you truly feel that your life is in danger. But let's also say that your area says it's illegal to carry a handgun in public. And let's just say that you're walking down the street and a mugger pulls a knife on you. And then you pull your handgun and you shoot that mugger DRT. DRT meaning dead right there. So now you've shot this mugger where in most areas it would be justified to use deadly force to protect yourself. But where you justifiably shot this mugger, you've done it while illegally carrying a handgun. In most areas, at least that I know of, there's actually going to be two completely different legal subjects your local courts will have to consider if you're charged in the incident. The first thing the court will have to consider will be if the level of force that you used, and in this case, deadly force, but they'll have to first consider if your level of force was justified. And then the second thing the court will consider will be, was your weapon that you used legal or not? So if the answer to question number one was that your use of force was justified, then the government can no longer charge you with murder or with assault even if you used an illegal weapon, because you were justified in the level of force that you used. But then if the answer to question number two is that your firearm was indeed illegal, then they can only charge you with carrying an illegal weapon. So, for many areas, and again, research your own state's laws, but in many areas, if you use an illegal weapon to kill a bad guy, and if you were legally justified in killing that bad guy, then the only thing that you'll be charged with is carrying an illegal weapon and not murder. So folks, in many areas, being charged with carrying an illegal weapon has a good chance of spending only a few days in jail compared to spending decades in a prison like if you were charged with murder. And also, depending on where you live, and again, research the laws in your area, but depending on where you live, there's a good chance that carrying an illegal knife is probably only a misdemeanor. So if you live in an area where push daggers are illegal, and if you were carrying a push dagger like I showed in the video, and some bad guy pins you down and starts busting your head into the concrete, and you then use that push dagger to keep your head from being caved in, then you would probably only be charged for carrying an illegal knife and not murder or serious bodily injury. And again, that's a huge difference between a few days in jail or decades in prison. A good example is where a guy named Bernard Goetz shot 4 alleged muggers on a New York City subway during the 1980s. Now, the government charged him with at least 2 charges, one charge being attempted murder, and the second charge being carrying a handgun illegally in the People's Republic of New York stand. But in the end, he was only found guilty by a jury of illegally carrying the handgun. Now, if I got this right, he wasn't charged with attempted murder only because he used a handgun to defend himself with. He was charged with attempted murder because he made several statements that he was out to kill them and only stopped shooting because he ran out of bullets. Anyways, a jury found him not guilty on the attempted murder charge, and they said that he was justified in using deadly force. But then the jury said that he was guilty of carrying a handgun because that was illegal in the state of New York. Now, on a quick side note, I saw some of his statements that he had made to the police that were later played in his criminal and civil trials, and it sounds like this guy was his own worst enemy. So to see a quick video on how to keep yourself out of jail after a justified self-defense where you kill the bad guy, watch my video titled, How to Keep Yourself Out of Jail After a Self-Defense Shooting, and a link to the video should be showing at the top of the video about now. But I have to brag here, my state has great self-defense laws compared to many other areas. While we do have to have a carry permit to carry a handgun outside of our homes, our permit allows us to open carry or conceal carry. Now, I personally support constitutional carry, and I think before it's all over with, my state will end up adopting that. But in my state, if a cop sees you carrying a handgun in public, then he can only ask to see your carry permit only if you're committing some kind of an offense. So kind of think about it like a driver's license. A cop can't stop you while you're driving just to check your driver's license. He has to have some kind of a reason to stop you before he can ask for your license and check it. So just to simplify it, if you're walking down the street in my state with a handgun openly displayed on your hip, you have to commit some kind of an offense before the officer can ask you for your carry permit. And we also have the castle doctrine here, which means that if you wake up to find a burglar in your home, then you can automatically use deadly force. And we also have the stand your ground law here. So if a bad guy on the street puts you in a lethal situation, then he's the one who's required to retreat and not you, the good guy. And my state doesn't care what you use to kill the bad guy with. My state only cares if you were justified in killing the bad guy. Whether you shoot the guy, or stab the guy to death, or beat him to death with a cast iron skillet, the court is only going to ask, was the person justified in killing the bad guy? And the courts would never say, well, he would have been justified in killing the bad guy had he shot him, but since he caved the bad guy's head in with a rock, we're going to have to arrest him. But the one stupid law that we do have in my state is that we can't have knives with opposing blades. So having a Chinese throwing star is illegal in my state. And of course, the elephant in the room here is, if SHTF happens and there's a breakdown in the rule of law, will a person even worry about the law while he or she are trying to ensure their survival and the survival of their family? So folks, I hope today's video kind of helped you to understand how many courts in many areas will look at things. While there very well might be some areas that may have some laws that say that you can be charged with murder if you use an illegal weapon, even if you're justified in using deadly force, but I don't know of where those places exist. So I'd like for you to comment below on what your area's laws say about self-defense weapons. Let the rest of us know what your state says about guns and knives. And if you comment that you'll be arrested for murder if you use an illegal weapon, even if you're justified in using deadly force, then I'm going to ask for you to post the statute or the law that actually spells that out. Now, I have a twofold reason for asking you how restrictive your self-defense laws are in your area. One reason is just because I'm curious to how restrictive laws are in other areas. And secondly, it also encourages you to actually look up the laws in your area, so you can actually make informed decisions if you do have to defend yourself. Anyways, folks, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I pray that you have a good night.